everyone. It's Stacy from Achievers Prep. Welcome to another edition of It's All Education, the video and audio podcast. I have a very special guest with me here today. It is none other than Dr. Patricia Anderson, and she's going to come to us and tell us about leadership and what she has going on in that field. Dr. Anderson, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me, boss lady. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very passionate about transformational leadership. I actually did my research in transformational leadership. However, my research went deeper. A lot of people think that transformational leadership is just one type. There are actually 4 types.
Right.
It's authentic transformational leadership, which is what I think people mean when they say, I'm a transformational leader. I think they mean I'm an authentic transformational leader. There's also a pseudo-transformational leader, and that's where my research went. I went into the ones who look like authentic transformational leaders, but really and truly they were pseudo-transformational leader. And just to give you a quick example, I'm going to use a very extreme example. Hitler did not start out his career saying that eventually we're going to do certain atrocities to Jews.
Right.
Sign on, right?
Right.
He came on, he said, you know what? It's after the war. We owe a lot of money to the United States. Let's be an economic power and show the world that we're a great country. Who wouldn't sign on to that?
Right.
And that's what people want to. And that's what in my workshop this weekend, we talk about the subtleties between the two because they look alike.
Okay.
The leader is very visionary, very charismatic. He sells the vision in such a compelling way that he has people galvanized to sign on. Same thing with Jim Jones. Yes, civil rights. That sounds like a great idea for us Black people. And eventually what happens is the followers are lulled into this form of security where they're not vetting information anymore because I trust this leader. I mean, he's the guy that's standing up for us to be, represented in a fair way. This is a guy that wants to rebuild Germany. So I trust him.
Right.
And little by little, this trust is elevated above vetting out information for yourself. And then next thing you know, people are in the ovens dying. People are drinking Kool-Aid knowing that it's going to kill them. Right. And that's where my research went. How do you identify the very, very sometimes imperceptible way a leader becomes pseudo-transformational? How do you stop it? How do you curtail it? And you can do so with your hiring practices, with diversity in leadership, where there's an accountability both ways with the leader and the followers. So that's where my research went. And I will tell you this, it was very difficult to find a leader and an organization who wanted you to see, can you see if I'm a pseudo-transformational leader in my organization?
Right.
I did find a global company that decided to let me in and very candidly interview the leaders and the employees about the leadership behavior, because that's what I was interested in. Because sometimes you see someone with a title or a resume.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's impressive. Well, this person is a family man, or this woman is married, or this leader has led X amount of corporations. I looked at the behavior because that's what everyone can read. Let's look at the behavior and see how they're acting over time, not just change, which is binary. I could be sitting on the outside and standing on the inside. So we want to look over time. Is this behavior sustained and sustainable? So that's what the research is on, really, to help organizations to be more authentic in their leadership. Because, boss lady, what we saw last year and this year, and we continue to see, is that authentic transformational leadership is the only type of leadership that can withstand crisis and all this stuff and disruption. Because you're not doing anything that much differently, because you're aggressive and transformational. So you don't have to, now we got to pivot because, oh my God, you don't have to do that. You've been doing it. You're transforming into future better states. You're not just pivoting.
And that's what I heard you talking about when you were describing binary. When you were describing what binary transformation is about. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Sure. And sorry, I should have let you in. I was just like going, nah.
No, I love it. No, keep going.
So change is binary. For example, and I'll vote myself in. How many of us at the top of the year say, you know what, this is a new year. I'm gonna start working out.
The resolution.
I'm gonna stop eating so much ice cream. I'm gonna look for this, right? How many we do it, right? And then
Guilty.
what happens, right?
Right.
We revert. That's why it's binary. Positive one, negative one. With change, there's a path backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I start going to the gym, I'm working out, and then I get tired. I don't see the results I want. And then I'm like, you know what? It's not for me. It's binary. I'm back. Transformation, there is no path backwards. If you look at the caterpillar
Oh, yeah.
forming to the butterfly can't say, you know what? I'm tired of being a butterfly. I want to be a caterpillar. There's no path backwards. So that's why it's binary, one is not.
I get it because I totally get it. Transformation is moving from where you are into another state.
Right.
It's transforming into another state. You can't transform backwards.
You cannot transform. And the reason why transformation is so important, especially now, is that it starts with a mind. The mind has to arrive first. So I can go to the gym. It doesn't mean that my mind is about being healthy or whatever. I can look like I'm working out because that's, you can see that, but the mindset has to change, has to transform. And that's what precedes transformation. And when the mindset leads, the mind arrives first, there is no path backwards.
I love it. I love it. This is why I invited you onto the show. My show is about education, but I believe that the human experience is our classroom and everything that we learn is life in itself is our teacher. But when you break it down, like you just broke it down, there are so many layers to this thing. There are so many different things we all as we can learn, especially from you in this transformational leadership event that you're having this weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right here on Zoom, right on Zoom.
Right on Zoom.
Yes, it's an immersive leadership experience. It's going to be interactive. We've got a lot of different activities. We're gonna actually take the step backwards. We're going to look at the history of leadership. I'll give you a sneak peek. It started off with the great man theory. I don't know if we have any issues with that. Back in the day, in order to be a great leader, you had to be a man and rich and great. So it shows the transformation of leadership, right? From there to where we are having great men and women as leaders. We talk about that whole change. I got some really great examples of change versus transformation.
Okay.
And boss lady, I was on a leadership call today, and this is what a lot of leaders don't get. You know, sometimes you see that the CEO is there, so everybody's posturing and they're speaking up and, hey, boss lady, when you said so-and-so, you know, so now I'm visible and I'm in your eye line. What about the people who are not speaking? That's who you need to speak to. Why are they not speaking? What are they thinking? And that's what a lot of leaders miss it that way. You want to engage those people. And the authentic transformational leader has that high EQ. That's one of the things that separates them from the rest. They understand their own emotions, number one, know thyself. And then they understand the emotions of their employees and their followers, and they're able to lead them, especially during times of crisis. There are four behaviors of an authentic transformational leader. And if you look at it like a pie, 25% each, crisis, they elevate certain behaviors. For example, COVID-19, your EQ has to raise the roof as a leader. It's not business as usual. It's not transactional. It's not hands-off, laissez-faire. It is, okay, you're a human being. I see where you are. Let's do this together. That's where they're different. So the ATL leadership is what is in demand today. A lot of businesses didn't make it out of COVID for different reasons. Of course, we look at the leadership. We're going to talk about the product life cycle during the leadership behavior during a product life cycle. A lot of small businesses fail because they fail to adopt what the bigger businesses are doing. You've got to adopt your leadership as you go through different life cycles in the product life, if you will. We're going to talk about the different ways that you can identify the strengths in your organization in your strengths, how to partner, how to collaborate to improve that, how to promote growth in the organization, how to replicate yourself as a leader so that you have other leaders in the organization, how to build a personal, professional, pedagogical, philosophical creed that will keep you on the path of being an authentic, transformational leader. So that's just some of the things that we're going to do this weekend. It's going to be so informative, so interesting. We've taught this class in a classroom in a university, and the feedback from the participants was out. First of all, you start to assess yourself and say, what type of leader am I? Am I?
Right. That's the first thing I'm doing in my head. What type of leader am I?
Am I? And then you notice it in other people as well. And we have a survey that once you sign up for the class, you do a pre-workshop survey that actually help you identify your leadership style. And I share the aggregated anonymized results in the workshop. And the other great thing is I also share my case study, the case study findings and the recommendations from the case study, which the organization that I did it on, I was able to recommend, remediation to them, which they put in practice. So it's a lot of information that you're going to get as a leader. You're 100% guaranteed to transform both inside that classroom workshop experience and outside of it.
Let me tell you, I could talk about this all day because I am so intrigued. I love what you're discussing. I love leadership. I'm actually the verbal, there's an app called Verbal Audio. It's more like a Spotify app for podcasts and video, all things audio. And I am the educational leadership ambassador. So I am drawn.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I am drawn to anything that represents leadership, and it helps us understand and become better leaders. So, Dr. Anderson, I want to respect your time, and I want to thank you immensely for coming on the podcast today. I want you to speak and let the people know about the event this weekend. Let us know how they can register, and has registration already ended?
No, I actually asked our IT guy to leave it open until Friday afternoon. The workshop is on Saturday morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 3 Saturdays, Saturday the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. If you want to register, if you want more information, just go to drpatriciaanderson.com, drpatriciaanderson.com.
That's it. And I'm obviously going to get this video out today, probably within the next few minutes when we're done. And I'm going to put that link inside the video. So they'll be able to click that link and register for the event. Dr. Anderson, thank you so much. I want to invite you to come back anytime and share more in detail. If it's possible, I know it is, because I could eat off of this information for days and days. So I would love to extend that invitation for you to come back and share with us again. But thank you for coming on with us today.
Thank you for having me. You're really great at what you're doing. I really appreciate what you're doing as a leader, as a woman, and all the other adjectives that I can put there. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a phenomenal job, and you're making a mark. So
thank you. Thank you. That's what's important to me. I will end the broadcast the way I always do by saying the human experience is our classroom and life is our teacher. And at the end of the day, it's all education. Bye.